Hello critters, welcome back to my channel. This is a video that I didn't plan on making, I wasn't working on it for a long time. This all just came out like fucking yesterday and I need to talk about it. It's about the allegations against Yanderedev, aka Alex, that he groomed a minor and that he even fucking admitted to it on his blog. And I kind of want to just go over all of the information so far and talk about it. There's a lot to go over. I'm sorry if I leave any of my stutters in or anything. I don't know how long this video is going to be because there's a lot of shit to go over. So it might be a little messy, but please just bear with me. I just want to kind of put everything together and bring everyone up to speed because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of separate videos, a lot of separate blog posts, Reddit posts all going on, and I kind of just want to put it all in a video and kind of present it, I guess, to bring people up to speed as to what's going on because it's a little nuts. But anyways, here's my intro. So basically, I woke up today and the first thing I saw was that the guy from Cub Scouts, this YouTuber that I followed for a long time, made a post about how he no longer is going to play Yandere Simulator, and I was like, holy shit, that's nuts. And I saw that also another YouTuber that I watch, Bijou Mike, who has done Yandere Simulator content for years and years, probably well over 5 years, is saying that he's not going to support Yanderedev either because of these allegations that came out. And I was like, oh shit, what the fuck is going on? So I actually first went to his blog and saw Yanderedev's blog to see his response, and I first read that and I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. He frames it in a way that's he said a few slightly sus things to a minor and that he's admitting to it, and I was like, okay. But then basically what happened that this minor who's 16, Alex is 35 by the way, had been recording conversations that she had with Alex and giving them to a YouTuber named Allie, who is making a video on it to expose him because it's some really fucked up stuff. And basically, Allie released this video yesterday, kind of forcing. Her hand was kind of forced because one of the victim's friends had released an audio recording from it. And everyone was like, what the fuck is going on? Please give context. So that's basically what happened. But, yeah, I want to go into some of the recordings first. I'm going to read his blog post later and also the victim's statement. But first I want to go through the voice recordings and some Snapchats that were in that video because, oh my god, I was watching this and my face was literally I think I shouted holy shit, multiple times. I'm sorry to my roommate if he heard that. Just holy shit. Okay, let's get into it. Again, I'm gonna give a trigger warning here for, really gross behavior, grooming, of course, sexual talk towards a minor, there's a lot of, gaslighting and victim blaming and kind of manipulation going on, so if that's not a topic you want to hear about right now, I don't know, go off, do something else. It's a really fucked up topic. So basically I'm gonna get right into it because again there's a lot to go through, and again sorry for my stutters that I might be leaving in because I don't really have the spoons to edit such a long video, especially with such a tumultuous topic. So let's get into it. So first, here's the voice recordings. I got some screenshots and these are fucked up. So basically she recorded some voice recordings she was having with them and he's talking to her in an absolutely flirty way. It's absolutely fucking disgusting knowing that he's 35 and talking to her this way. Again, when I saw his blog post, I was like, oh, maybe he just mentioned boobs or something once, which is also bad. You can't talk about that shit to minors anyways, but not like this. So basically, first of all, he just kept calling her cute and sweet, which is really fucking weird coming from the voice of a 35-year-old man. This right here, he says, if you don't want to be called cute, then stop being so cute. Oh my god, that just makes me throw up a bit in my throat. to like hear that. It's just like saying that to a minor, especially because she was like, "Oh my god, stop calling me cute," you know. But yeah. And I'm just gonna show Alex's quotes on this because the minor didn't really want her voice out there. Her voice has like been distorted into the recording now and stuff. But basically, anyways, moving on. So the next quote. Oh my god. I so basically she was like joking with him like, "Oh, are you gonna start an OnlyFans to get money?" And he was like, "Haha, what would I even put on there?" And then he says, "When you turn 18, are you going to start an OnlyFans?" Holy shit. That's nuts that he said that. And basically he was like, "Haha, I have to ask you since you asked me." And it's like, no. That's so weird, especially like people always say that about minors growing up, like when there's like women that are younger than 18, girls that are younger than 18 growing up, there'll always be like creepy men that are like, "Oh my god, I can't wait till she turns 18 so we can see her nudes." And it's like, "Oh my god, stop. You're fucking oh my god." Oh my god. Okay. Next one. I literally this is so bad. Okay, next one. He says, "Yeah, you're very skinny and that's kind of hot." Cause they're talking about boob sizes, and he was like, "I like women with boobs the size of their head," and she was like, "Oh, my boobs are fucking." I'm not even gonna say it. I can't even talk about this. It's making me so disgusted to even think about talking to a minor this way that he was doing. And basically, he was like, "Oh, you're skinny. That's hot." Oh. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, and then he says after that, he says, "Sorry, am I a bad guy for saying that? Should I go die?" Yeah, you are a bad guy for saying that, but oh my god, the fucking like manipulation there. I mean, I can obviously be like a joke from him saying like, "Haha, I'm gonna go die because I said something weird to a minor." It's like, well, yeah, you should, but that's a joke from me. Legally, that's a joke from me. But like it's just such manipulation, being like, "Oh my god, I." He's like, the thing is that he's self-aware too. He knows that what he's saying to this minor is wrong, and he's like, "I'm talking to a minor in this way, and that's bad. If I'm a bad guy for saying that, I should go die." Basically, I don't know. Then they got on the subject of him being a virgin. I don't. So basically, I think they were talking about it, and he just like randomly fucking says, "You want to steal my first time?" Because he was like asking like why she was asking him, and uh, it's just it's bad. It's so bad that he said that because it's like that's like he goes on later to say like, "Oh, I never had any plans to have sex with her when she turned 18, like a groomer would, you know." But like he's obviously implying like that. Oh my god. I just can't. I can't. Okay, next there's like a few more voice recording lines. Basically they were talking about minors being sexualized because in Yandere Simulator, well, of course, like it's creepy. I've been following Yandere Simulator for many years, and I've seen a lot of things. He had to make all the characters over 18, and it doesn't make sense because they're all literally in high school. But he was like, I needed to make them 18 so I could still sexualize them. Like that's literally his reasoning. He was like, people would get mad at me if they were in high school because like there's still parts of the game where it's like you need to like take upskirt shots of girls to like get virtual currency in the game and shit like that. And it's fucked up. But basically she was talking about sexualizing minors, and he goes on to say that Mother Nature sexualizes minors, and like he was talking about how minors when they hit puberty, like they're sexualized by Mother Nature because they're like they grow into like having womanly bodies, I guess, before they're 18 to like give birth, I guess. And it's just like, oh my god, you're talking about children. This is about like minors. Like you're the one fucking sexualizing them. You're the one saying like that before they turn 18, they're being sexualized by God knows who, by God himself, I guess, and not by the creepy adults saying this. Oh my god. I'm I'm so heated right now. I'm sorry. This it's just like I was watching this and I was like, holy shit, holy fuck, what is wrong with you? Oh my god. Okay. So that's about all the voice recording clips that I grabbed, but there's a lot of Snapchats to go through, so I'm gonna go into that now. Bear with me because these are really really fucking incriminating in terms of him being like really fucking manipulative. So this might be a bit of a long section, but it's important because it's some really fucked up shit. I can't even like I it makes me cringe. I like it's not even just like cringe and like oh my god cringe. It's like a cringe, like a full fucking body cringe from oh my god. Okay, so basically, so yeah, I'm just gonna read off what he says. He is talking about how he makes comments like, "Oh, don't say that when you're a child," like about sexualizing things. And he says, "If I say wait 2 years and try again, does that technically count as grooming?" And she says, "I think so legally. You can't go from sexual talk to the minor to saying wait till you're legal to continue this with me. That's the definition of grooming," she says. And he says, "But if I say, whoa, 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 don't say that until you're 18, the subtle change in phrasing makes it not grooming, question mark." And it's uh, like, no, like, you just say, don't say that. Like, or you just don't fucking engage. You don't, like, it's, oh my god. That's literally grooming. But basically, yeah, she's like, I think anything implying a wait for me to be 18 is grooming. So, then they talk about kind of like how close she is to being 18. And he's like, so she's like, I'm just a year and a half away from 18. Is it honestly that different? And he's like, I think about that sometimes. 17 is 94.4% of 18, so therefore being attracted to a 17-year-old girl is 94.4% okay. He's bringing in like the maths and the fucking logic like it's like some fucking like physics equation. Whenever you bring in like the fucking like when people talk about like the Romeo and Juliet laws of like, oh my god, if you're like 14 and 17 and 14 and 18, it's technically okay, wherever the fuck it is. It's like, that's just, you're justifying insane shit. Also, he's 35. What could he possibly have in common with even like an 18 or 19-year-old? Like, what? In terms of like romantic interest? Like, what is. Oh my god. And he says, like, the physical difference between a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old is like less than a 6% difference. And it's like, that's not how it works because the difference between a 17 and 18-year-old is that a 17-year-old is in high school and has their parents watching over them and does not have that independence that an 18-year-old can go on to have. An 18-year-old is basically like they're basically out of high school for the most part. They go off on their own, they're independent, and they are past the age of like they're adults at that point. Of course there's like a blurry line even of like 18-year-olds being fucking young, but it's like it's nuts. He's talking like it's like a whole math equation of like a linear fucking algebra line of oh my god. Of the age of consent and who he can be attracted to. And he says like being attracted to a 17-year-old is nearly identical to being attracted to an 18-year-old. And that's nutso. That's fucking nutso. Oh my god. Um yeah, he says it's not really a black and white thing where a person transforms overnight as soon as they turn 18. It's a slow transformation over time. And he's talking about like that they're mature before they reach 18, but it's actually the fucking opposite way. It's not black and white when they turn 18. It's like they continue growing from when they're 18 to like when they're fucking like 26 years old is the thing. It's like there's still that like, and he's 35. Okay, I'm sorry I'm taking so long on these, but it's like, oh my god. Okay, so next one. Then they are talking another time where she's like saying that she got some clothes, I think, and he's like, model them for me, send some raunchy pictures, basically. She's like, oh, what if I did that? And he'd be like, that'd be erotic or whatever. And he says, well, I'm not going to specifically say, explicitly say, send me nudes now, please. But, well, I like hot ladies. So he's like, I'm not gonna say to send me nudes because you're 16 years old, because that would be weird, but if you send them to me, haha, wink wink, it's like, oh my god. Uh, he's like, oh my god. Okay, I can't. Okay, next one. So then he goes on to say, like, when she doesn't send him anything, he says, well, okay, you talked me out of it, nothing for me then. And she goes, no, sorry. And then sends him something where he favorited a snap twice, it looks like. And he says, oh, wow, that was so hot, heart. And she goes, thanks, lol. Yes, yes, this is totally just him being so normal towards a minor. This is normal. Oh, he just said a few weird things towards a minor. So not he's not grooming anyone, right? Oh my god. That's so weird that this is like he thinks that this is a normal thing to say. And okay, this is actually where I think this is what happens when the audio gets leaked. This is where the audio got leaked and he is talking about like please like take it down, tell your friend to take it down. We need to like stop this because it's going to ruin my life. What the fuck? So basically, he was talking about like a manga that he read that was like really fucked up, and basically they were kind of talking about it, and she goes on to say, I feel guilty because I looked up to you for years, but this relationship was totally not okay. I'm 16, which is like, yeah, she's starting to have some realization that like it was really fucked up that this relationship took place, like a quote unquote relationship, that he was being weird towards her. And this is where he starts to like realize like, oh shit, that he fucked up. And he starts to go back and try and like appeal to her like emotions to say like, please don't release this, otherwise I'm going to be very upset and I'm just a sad, lonely person. Okay. So yeah, basically he's like, I am so lonely and miserable and depressed and unhappy. Of course the one time a girl is actually nice to me, I got attached, which is like, oh my god, stop. Like, we know that he is a weirdo, and he said, you were so fun and funny and charismatic. It made me want to keep talking. I am not an evil predator who goes around R-wording little girls. But, like, no one's... The way that he conflated this to be like, I only talked to and groomed a minor. I didn't go around and R-word little girls. It's like, you are... This is not an equivalency. You are just, like, saying, well, at least I didn't go around and R-word little girls. I only groomed a minor. It's like there's you. That's oh my god. He says I'm a lonely, vulnerable man who made the mistake of being flirty to a girl who is a bit too young. A bit too young, girl. You're 35. Oh my god. Okay. Basically, yeah. That's just like something that I see a lot with fucking groomers where they're just like, it's so hard for me to find love that the only love I can find was with a child that I manipulated into thinking that I care about them in a romantic sense, even though that's fucking illegal and terrible and nasty and disgusting, especially with the power dynamic of him having millions of followers, her being a fan of his. It's just like, oh my god, it's absolutely fucking disgusting. Oh my god. Okay, moving on. She's like, so basically the victim was having some issues. She was kind of scared for the audio to get released because of like the backlash that would happen, and like knowing that everything would just like fucking blow up when this video by Ali got released. And he starts going like, well, me too, panicking for about 16 hours now. My heart is all fucked up. When he said heart palpitations, I could relate to that. I can't breathe or focus at all. I am in full panic attack mode over this. And that's just something that I see so much like manipulators where they're like, you're giving me a panic attack, you're making me have a mental breakdown, like you're the one causing this, you can fix this by going back on whatever you're doing. Like it's just like a fucking manipulation tactic, especially from like a 35-year-old man to a vulnerable 16-year-old person. Like being 16 and having someone you look up to who like you looked up to for years. Like she even mentioned at one point that she'd been following Yandere simulators since she was 7 years old, which is insane. And she's like, she looked up to this guy for years, and he's like, you're giving me a panic attack, you're making my life worse. It's like that the manipulation between, like, especially with the power imbalance, is just so fucked up. Oh my god. So yeah, then they go on, and she's like, she asked him to go on voice chat, but he's like, I don't want to, and she's saying I could be recording this text, which she is. And he says, I haven't even said anything villainous in these texts, which, like, yes, he does. Yes, he has. He's said some fucked up things. He's fucking manipulating her. And he says, just, this is fucked up, and I don't deserve this. What the fuck do you mean you don't deserve this? You called a girl hot. You asked about, like, her, oh my god, her boobs. And, oh my god. And she says, I feel like I'm exposing a boyfriend, but you're 35. And that just goes to show how manipulated she was by all this, and, like, how deeply ingrained in her it was that she was having this, like, close connection to this 35-year-old man who she looked up to for many years. And yeah, then he goes on for more fucking manipulation. He says, well, this is actually the worst thing that's ever happened in my life, which I mean, like, it probably is. Like, this is fucking bad. Everyone's pulling out right now. Everyone's leaving him right now, like, fucking good. She says, I'm sorry. He says, nothing else compares. She says, I'm really sorry. He says, if you were genuinely sorry, you'd save me. Save him? Like, the fucking, again, the manipulation here is nuts, and especially from, like, towards a 16-year-old girl. Like, when you're 16, you should be worrying about, like, your fucking math tests, not, like, trying to, like, save the life, quote unquote, of a 35-year-old man with millions of followers who you looked up to for many years. It's just fucked up. Like, oh my god. And again, it's just like the fucking manipulation here is off the goddamn charts. Okay. Next, going into this part. This is the part that I was like, you are off your rocker. He's really spiraling here. It's like so fucking bad that he's saying these things. He's just kind of going off with whatever he can to try and get this girl to go back on her, like, wanting to release his audio. So he says, I do not think I traumatized anyone. She says, I don't feel traumatized, but in 10 years I might, and then what? Which is like a real thing to say. I'm guessing she was talking to Allie, the content creator, about this, who was kind of telling her, like, this is really fucked up. You're a minor, this should be happening to you. Basically, then he says, you're the one traumatizing me. This here is trauma, this is abuse, this is power imbalance. I'm being emotionally abused by you. Which, what? She's 16, she's half his age. She is like in fucking high school. She's a child. He's 35. He has millions of followers. And he's the one that said these fucking things in the first place. He said these goddamn things, and he's like, you're the one who is traumatizing me because you're gonna bring to light shit that I said. And it's like, bitch, I'm sorry. Oh my god, that's just, he says, you're this massive blackmail over me. She says, I'm 16, you're 35, which is like, that should be like the fucking end of it. Like, you can't fucking have a power imbalance over someone who is twice your age when you're 16 years old. Like, I really hate seeing that when people are like, when people try to say that children have a power imbalance over an adult like a minor does, and it's like, that's just, there's no fucking way. Like, if you're an adult, you just have that life experience to realize that that isn't a fucking thing, you know? So yeah, then he goes on, more manipulation, of course. He says, I've done nothing wrong. A girl was flirting to me and I was vulnerable, so I flirted back. That is the extent of the situation. I am not an evil, traumatizing predator. And so yeah, he's manipulating her more. He's like condensing the situation into being like, I am just a lonely guy. You're the only one who was nice to me ever. Oh my god. I'm not an evil predator. And the worst part is here that she kind of goes back and she says, I think you're right. I'll talk to Bug RN, which is her friend who released the audio. And she's kind of being manipulated by him, I think. She's like, this is, it's bad because she's starting to feel bad because he's saying all this fucked up thing. And then again, she's 16. She does not have the, like, emotional breadth to deal with these types of situations in a way to, like, think about the bigger picture and her own mental health. She's only thinking about trying to help this guy who is twice her age, big following, you know. So then he goes on to say, I would be eternally grateful to you if you save my life. There is good in you. You can make the right decision. I don't even know what to say about that. That's just like, that's batshit. He's saying like, I don't even know if he's like implying that he's going to do something if she doesn't do this, but like also it's just like, that's just, it's so fucking dramatic. And again, putting that on a 16-year-old who does not have the emotional maturity to like, I don't know, it's just so fucked up. Oh my god. And so then he's trying to like coach her into saying what to say to her friend because her friend is refusing to take down the audio. And he says, you can say, I know what the laws say, but I don't want to risk it. It is my decision as the victim. Which is, it's fucked up because he's trying to, like, coach her into saying things as the victim, quote unquote, he says at the end, because it's like he's trying to, like, because the power is all in the victim, right? Like, the victim is the one who can come forward and people support the victim. So he's trying to use that against the people who are trying to expose him by being like, you as a victim have the power to save me, so go and do that, right? And then he goes on a little more. He says, it's my recording, so it's my decision to make, not yours. You can be forceful with him, make it clear that your word is final and he does not have a say in the matter. So, again, that's just more of him trying to coach her into weaponizing her being the victim. He's, like, totally weaponizing that. And yeah, her friend is still refusing, but she goes on and says, Dev, I don't like this. This is textbook grooming, which is, it's so true. He's, like, coaching her what to say. He's weaponizing her being a victim. He's trying to turn, like, her friends against her, kind of, by making her not go forward with this, I guess. It's just, oh my god. There's a few more snaps. He says, after this experience, I will never talk to a minor for the rest of my life. It is anti-grooming. The fuck you mean anti-grooming? Like, fucking, what? He's like, I never talk to a minor for the rest of your life. What the fuck do you mean by that? Like, you're gonna, like, fucking... It just goes to show when people say stuff like that, when adults are like, I'm never talking to a minor again, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you don't trust yourself to not be a fucking weirdo and, like, not be the mature one in situations, and it's just, like, it's just so fucking weird. Like, that's not the right response to have in such a situation. He says, I am trying to convince a minor to stop being entangled with my life, so this is as far as possible from grooming. Which, again, it's just, like, a fucking insane statement. Like, what do you mean? He's saying, like, he groomed a minor, and he's like, I'm trying to tell this minor to stop talking to me, so therefore I am anti-grooming. I'm doing the opposite of grooming, so therefore I am the furthest away from a groomer that you can possibly be. It's like, girl, oh my god, okay. Then he goes on a little more to try and, like, explain why he's not a groomer, and, like, kind of, like, diminish what happened. He's trying to diminish what he did to her and the grooming that he did. He's like, grooming is like, wahaha, I will ensure that I fuck this girl when she turns 18, wahaha. And it's, and she says, and you were casually flirting with me and engaging with sexual stuff with a minor, not planning to get with me when I'm 18. And it's like, that's, she has the point there. She's saying, like, even if you don't intend to sleep with the minor when they turn 18, still speaking to them in such a sexual way to groom them into a relationship with you is grooming, especially when you're the adult and she's a 16-year-old child. Okay. He says, meanwhile, here's me being like, damn, I am lonely and this girl is the only person on earth who is nice to me. What the fuck do you mean? That's... Okay, but I'm starting to get a little too comfortable with this. I don't know. Like, again, that's totally diminishing the situation. He's saying, like, oh, I'm just a lonely guy. I'm so sad. I am only just trying to talk to someone who's nice to me because no one is nice to me. I have such a sad life, right? No, fuck you. You're, like, literally, even though he has a lot of drama against him, up until now, there was a lot of people on his side. Which, I mean, like, I don't really, like, there was a lot about him up to this point, but you can tell that this is the fucking straw that broke the camel's back, because, like, even the people who have been working with him for 10 years are just, like, fucking dropping him. Like, it's insane. Like, he doesn't, I don't know. Okay, so he says, a groomer would have tried so hard to spend time with you, play Phasmo, show on webcam, etc., and instead I avoided those things. I was distant because I prefer to be very distant from any minors or grooming behavior and not engage with it even 1%. And, again, that's just a nuts thing to say, saying, I try to be distant from grooming behavior. Like, what do you mean? That should just be a fucking given. When you're an adult, you don't fucking groom people. He says, I prefer to be distant from grooming. What do you mean? That shouldn't be a fucking... Oh my god. He says, I really feel that it's established I am not an evil villain with dirty intentions. A real predator jumps at the chance to ensnare a minor, whereas I was distant as hell. No. That fucking... Oh my god, he's like, again, he's trying to go back and be like, I am not a predator, I was only a lonely guy, I didn't actually do anything physically, so therefore it's not bad, which is like, that's so fucking not true. Oh my god, like the fucking mental scarring on victims of grooming like this is nuts. But anyways, one more. He says, stress, He says, my future is still in grave danger, but I appreciate your effort to prevent the video. As long as you take steps to reverse what's happening, everything will be okay in the end. But, again, the fucking drama that he's trying to place, like, his entire livelihood and his entire life and, like, his entire project on her shoulders is, like, It's nuts. And you can see I'm gonna go into some of the statements soon, but the victim, she did try to go back and tell Allie not to publish the video, and the victim talks about like she was saying that it wasn't as bad as it was, but you can definitely tell that a lot of it is based on this conversation and Yanderedev grooming her and telling her that it's not as bad as it is, even though it is. But anyways, I want to get on to Yanderedev's statement now because that's what I saw first, and I want to talk about that a bit because it's kind of insane that he posted this, and I even read it and I was like, I don't know like what to think. Like it's bad, like it's really fucking bad, but also like I want to know the evidence. He didn't like give any evidence or anything. I wanted to know like what the extent of he's very fucking vague. I wanted to know the extent of what he was saying, and he's very fucking vague. But anyways, I'm gonna go on and read his statement now, so we're gonna go over that. Okay, so we're looking at a statement now, and this is what he posted September 25th, 2023. Um, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm just like I'm fucked up over that stuff that we just went over. It's nuts, and I feel like absolutely fucking disgusted. And so we're gonna go into his statement. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit and how it can be taken. But I think no one is really being fooled by this except for like his younger fans, which I think is really kind of fucky, and I'm afraid for them. But okay, we're gonna get into it. His title says, "I'm sorry, period." So, he says, "Hi, you've probably heard some really concerning stuff over the last few days. You might have seen a video that has left you feeling worried, disappointed, and wondering what I have to say for myself. There's a part of me that wants to say, no, you don't understand, the video is edited in an extremely dishonest and misleading way, blah blah blah, but no, I'm not going to focus on that." So, like, yeah, he's saying, like, the video, he's talking about Allie's video that came out, and as of now, there's only a re-upload out of it. I think Allie had to take it down. I don't know why. Maybe just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why the video was taken down, but, basically, he's talking about that video. A lot of people saw it. So, he's going on and saying, like, I'm not going to dispel and say that she had framed me in a bad light, because it's, it's fucky. Anyways, so he says, "There's a part of me that wants to do what I usually do and type out a massive essay where I over-explain absolutely every single detail about the entire situation, provide context to absolutely everything, go point by point down the list of every possible fact that could make the situation easier to understand. But no, I'm not going to do that. This isn't a blog post about how. Actually, you see, I didn't really do anything all that bad if you consider all the facts. I'm just going to take accountability and own up to a really, really huge fucking mistake that I've made." So yeah, he's even saying, like, usually when these situations happen, he usually comes out with like a big thing, being like, "Oh my god, it's not as bad as it seems." But he's saying that it is as bad as it seems. He's saying that like he did make this mistake, but of course he's not going to go like that far into it. Anyways, okay, moving on. He says, "A few months back, a fan of the game DM'd me and wanted to chat. I normally just turn fans away and tell them I'm busy, but in this case, the fans seemed really funny and interesting, so I agreed to talk. After around 2 months, I agreed to do a voice chat with her." Which, like, that's so weird. Like, he says that usually he turns fans away, and that a fan reached out to him first. And I know that's like a big point of contention later in the post and also in the victim's response that she's the one who reached out. But I mean, it doesn't fucking matter because he's the one that continued the contact in the private manner and spoke to her in weird fucking ways. So, he says next, "Right off the bat, she let me know that she was 16. At the time, I didn't even perceive this as a problem. What do I care about what her age is? She's just a funny fan of the game who wants to talk to me. This is no big deal. I rationalized myself that it was fine. This was massive mistake number one, more to follow." I just think it's weird that in the first place he says, "Why do I care what her age is?" when she says that she's 16. It's like, that's just like him justifying to himself that, like, oh, age, I don't care about it. Like, I can just talk to her like I can with anyone else, right? It's like, even if he had in the back of his mind that she's 16, he continued to talk to her in weird fucking ways. So then he says, "We talked for a while, and eventually I started to feel really comfortable speaking to her. I started talking to her the same way I would speak to any of my other friends. She was one of the guys." I hate that. I fucking hate that. Like, fucking, like, oh, this 16-year-old girl is just like my other 30-year-old man friends. Like, no, that's not, you aren't talking to your 30-year-old man friends the way they're talking to her. You're not asking them what their boob size is, right? Oh my god. Okay. He says, I made the same type of vulgar jokes that I make when voice chatting with my other friends. This was an absolutely unacceptable mistake. Yeah, no shit. No grown up should ever use adult language or make adult jokes in the presence of a minor just because I felt really comfortable speaking to her. That doesn't make it okay. That's no excuse, not in the slightest. So I don't understand why this is why when I first read this I was like, oh, he was just making, not just making vulgar jokes around a minor, because that's also really fucked up to do and also a grooming behavior. Like making vulgar jokes around a minor and normalizing that shit is a grooming behavior, and he definitely admits to that in this, but he doesn't admit the extent to him privately voice chatting with her, calling her cute, calling her hot, asking her to send him provocative photos. He doesn't do that shit to his other friends. He doesn't do that shit to the other guys in his friend group. Like, oh my god. Okay, okay. So he says, occasionally she would say something flirty towards me. Most of the time I would shut that down immediately and refuse to reciprocate. However, there were times when I didn't shut it down and let her talk to me that way without stopping her, which, like, it's it's just nuts. It's nuts that he fucking, like, allowed this. He should have just, like, fucking, he's the 35-year-old man. He should have stopped it. Again, it's not on her at all. I see some people being like, she's the one that started it. So therefore, like, he was like, oh, he was just a lonely guy. He was just, like, wanting to fucking have a girl be nice to him or whatever. But it's like, no. He should have been the one to stop that. So he says, obviously goes without saying that this was absolutely not fucking okay. Yeah, it's fucking not okay. This was a point in time when I should have instantly disengaged and ended all contact with her. In any interaction between an adult and a minor, it's the adult's responsibility to put an immediate stop to any inappropriate behavior. There's absolutely no excuse for tolerating this as if it was okay. I didn't want to be a buzzkill or didn't want to ruin the vibes, or we were just having a lighthearted, jokey conversation. It didn't really feel like anything wrong was happening. Are not acceptable excuses in the slightest. Which, like, I don't fucking understand why he's giving these excuses. Again, like, when he says these things, he frames it as if, like, he was in a, like, group chat making vulgar jokes, or other people were making vulgar jokes, and he wasn't shutting it down, which, again, is bad. But he's not saying that he was in private voice chats with this girl, calling her cute, calling her hot, asking about boob sizes, talking about virginity. Like, that's, oh my god, he's just, like, totally leaving out the bits that are the most fucking important. That's why when I was watching Allie's video, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was fucking stunned, and I'm still fucking stunned by this, because it's nuts. Okay. So, he says, at some point she started recording our conversation so that she could share my jokes with her friends. However, one of her friends interpreted my remarks as showing sexual interest in her, which, like, yeah. He was like, yeah, want to be my first time? Yeah, boobs, whatever the fuck. I think minors are sexualized by Mother Nature. Like, that is fucking weirdly sexually charged, oh my god, towards a minor. And so the fucking friend was right in that. He says, they convinced her that I was trying to groom her, because he was, and that she should release all of her recordings to expose me, which, like, again, it's totally, like, in that point, it was totally, like, up to her to be like, I want to share this with my friends. I mean, we'll see in a bit. Okay, so let's just continue. It says, her friends pressured her into providing the recordings to a drama YouTuber who began producing a video about the situation. A preview of the video revealed the intention of the video would be to characterize me as a predator/groomer by presenting clips of the conversation that sounded sexual. Which, what do you mean sounded sexual? They were sexual. You were like, oh my god, what if you sent me nudes? Ha ha ha, this is a 16-year-old girl. Oh my god, that's nuts. It's nuts that earlier in the fucking document, he was like, I'm not going to try and say that it was taken out of context and that this YouTuber is mischaracterizing me. But then he's doing that right here. He's being like, oh, I'm being mischaracterized as a predator/groomer, which, I mean, he is. So, I mean, oh my god, holy shit. Okay. He says, obviously, it doesn't matter how the recordings were made public, because the entire situation never should have been allowed to happen in the first place. I'm just explaining why such a video even exists. So, yeah, he's just saying, like, it doesn't matter that the YouTuber is presenting the recordings by having them, like, provided by the girl. I just think it's nuts that he's saying this, and it's... yeah, it shouldn't have fucking happened in the first place, and, like, it's the fucking recordings speak for themselves. It's not even just the video framing this. The recordings are you saying, like, oh my god, you're so hot. Ha ha ha, you're so cute. Oh my god. So, okay. He says, watching the recordings of the way I interacted with her has been mortifying for me. You fucking think? I keep thinking I actually did that, and you goddamn idiot. Whenever I'm reminded of something inappropriate that he said in conversation with her, I'm not going to spend a million years belaboring this point. Oh my god, big word, but you use a fucking sword? Oh my god, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. But I want you to know that I've been kicking myself nonstop since this situation happened. I feel disgust and disappointment in myself on a level that I've never felt before in my entire life. Yeah, I fucking hope so. I. Oh my god, I can't even imagine. Especially with the victim feels when listening to the recordings. I know that she is having a lot of issue with what is going on and what is being released and feeling bad for Alex. But oh my god, it's nuts. This is so bad. It's Yeah, you fucking said that. Yeah, you thought it was okay. Yeah, you thought it was okay to call a minor cute. You're fucking 35 years old, you freak. Okay. Then he goes on to say it was foolish, extremely damn foolish. Yeah, you fucking from 1900s comedy. Sorry for me to think to myself that it was possible to rationalize an adult becoming friends with a minor, because no matter what the adult's intentions are in the beginning, there are so many potential things that can go wrong involving an adult and a minor alone together that the scenario should never even be allowed to happen in the first place. Not to mention the inherent power imbalance, etc. I can run every single reason why an adult and a minor can't have a meaningful friendship, but then this blog post to be twice as long. Like, he's trying to be like, oh, I know exactly why adults and minors shouldn't be talking in private settings about weird things, but I won't say it. It's like he's acting like he knows exactly what he did wrong, and I know the entire time he was self-aware. He was like, I'm a bad person for saying these things. Like, oh my god, I should just go die or whatever when he said about like his first time or whatever. Like, oh my god. Ugh! Okay, so he says, over the years, a lot of people have contacted me to tell me that they look up to me, that they admire me, that I inspired them. Right now, I'm thinking about all the people who ever said those words to me, and I realize that my actions have completely invalidated their words. No, someone who makes this kind of mind-numbingly stupid mistake is not admirable or inspiring. Yeah, you're fucking right on that. It's especially bad because the fan base of Yandere Simulator is largely children. And, like, I know there's, like, also an older fan base of people who, like, wanted to follow the, game from the beginning of its development and are interested in like the development of it and stuff. But for the most part, it's like mostly like children on TikTok that are like appealed to this game with its bright colors and its edgy jokes and shit, you know? It's yeah. Yeah, your children fan base, and you took advantage of that. You took advantage of this child in your fan base. Okay? Okay. So, he says, I let the fans down, I keep saying that to myself over and over, years of trying my best to prove that I'm not the bad guy that people say I am, and then I go and screw up so badly that I've retroactively vindicated some of the hate that has been directed at me. Yeah. It's, like, I mean, a lot of stuff has come out over the years about him being an absolute creep, but, like, none of it to this scale, I don't think. Like, of course, there's all the shit in his game in general about how creepy it is, how he had, like, changed the ages and shit, and he's just, like, he's always been, like, a skeevy guy, he's always been, like, fucking creepy, like, fucking sex doll, like a 16-year-old, whatever the hell. Who is it again? The girl from... Who is it again? I don't remember. But, yeah, he's creepy, but nothing has been to the scale. And he says, it's ironic, I've always tried so hard to disprove the hateful remarks people make about me by doing the opposite of what they expect of me. For example, if people say I'm lazy, I respond by working more hours than usual. Oh my god, you're so awesome. If people say I'm greedy, I respond by turning down opportunities to make money. Okay, yeah, just fucking stop. Shut up. Oh my god. If people say I'm interested in minors, I respond by adding rules to my Discord server to actively discourage minors from participating. At every turn, I try my absolute best to disprove every ignorant and hateful false accusation that people make about me. Which... What do you mean? What do you mean when people say you're interested in minors that you just add more rules to your Discord server? That's not... You should just say, fucking... Oh my god. I always hate when weird, creepy adults are like, oh my god, I'm so against pedophiles and being attracted to minors that I can't be around minors because I'm just going to fucking groom them. Like, I need to make sure minors don't talk to me, otherwise it's gonna happen. That's just how it is. Like, no, that's not how it is. You're just a fucking freak. Oh my god. Anyways, he says, and now look at what I've gone and done. Instead of doing everything in my power to disprove the allegations that I'm attracted to kids, I made some remarks that sound really, 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 really fucking questionable. Yeah, really, really. I want to add some more release to that. I'm not even going to say it sounds bad because it's out of context. If you only had the context, you'd understand that it wasn't so bad. I'm just going to own up to this one. The fact that it even happened at all is bad regardless of the context. There is no excuse. It is an outright fuck up, pure and simple. Which, yes, it is an outright fuck up, pure and simple. But even more than pure and simple, it's like fucking impure and complex how much you fucking are trying to justify this to yourself and justify it to this minor, even though like, in those fucking like Snapchat conversations was nuts. It was bad. It's a bad fucking look, dude. Like, oh my god. He says, after the video went public, some of the game's volunteers started receiving harassment and abusive messages. Several of them have already contacted me to inform me that they can no longer be associated with me or my project and want to remove their assets from the game. I get it. There's a part of me that wants to profusely beg them to reconsider, but whatever they decide, I'm going to respect their wishes. Which, like, again, that's nuts. People who have been working on Yandere Simulator have been working with him for, like, years and years and years. I know that, the main voice actors of the game have pulled out and want their work removed, which is nuts because those people have been with him for like since the fucking beginning. Like, you know, like the main character, like Ayano, like her voice actress. She's been there for beginning. Like, these voice actors have been with him for so long, and this is a straw that broke the camel's back for them to be like going away from the project. I think that this. Okay, I'll talk about it in a second. But anyways, so he says it's one thing to make a stupid mistake that results in self-humiliation is another thing to make a mistake that affects all the people who associate with me. However, it's a mistake on an entirely different level to make a mistake that involves an appropriate interaction with a minor. Yeah. It's an entirely different level because you groomed this minor to the point where they're going to have issues for a long time. And you can definitely tell that it's like, it's really weighing on them. And it's so bad. So there's a little bit left of his post. He says, at this point in time, it's difficult to determine exactly how much is going to impact the development of Yandere Simulator. If I have to replace huge numbers of assets, hundreds of voice-acted lines, for example, I won't lie, it's going to be a pretty big setback. I really only have myself to blame for it, though. So, yeah, I think when it comes to that, I think the only way that Yandere Simulator can continue as a game is for him to leave the project, which I know he never will do, because no matter what, even if everyone fucking left him, he'd be clinging to this project, even if it was just, like, literally nothing left. Like, if he were to step back and have someone else take over the project, I think that maybe the project could continue under different leadership of someone who's not a fucking skis. And that could be the only way of seeing this project ever continue, because right now, again, like, the volunteers who were voice acting as main characters, all these other, like, assets, are being taken out that have spent years, and it's been, like, how many years since it started? Since 2014? Like, 9 years? That's all gone. It's all gone. The game is fucking over, unless he steps back and has someone else take it over. So yeah, I think it's for the fucking end of Yandere Simulator. Bye. So, last part, he says, for what it's worth, I'd like to make you aware of the fact that the fan I spoke to expressed their feelings on the situation. You can find her post here. And I am going to read that post in a second. It's that the fact that he linked it, and I'm going to read it and say, like, my piece about it, because it's really fucked up that he's even, like, promoting it and being like, look, the victim isn't mad at me, after I manipulated her and told her that she needed to save my life. But, yeah. I'll read that in a second, but the last part he said, I feel like it's going to take a really long time for me to forgive myself for such a stupid mistake, but as the first steps, I've donated $1,000 to RAIN, an organization that provides care and benefits to survivors of abuse, which, like, okay, sure, awesome. Thanks. Sure. Thanks. I don't fucking know what to even say about that. I mean, I guess it's good that he donated to RAIN. I don't know, go donate to RAIN if you want to help. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm speaking so fast. I'm just, like, so fucking riled up by his blog post, because again, I saw that blog post first, and I was like, okay, so, he didn't mention anything that he actually said. He only kind of danced around the subject, saying, like, oh, I said a few weird things in the presence of a minor, rather than calling this minor, like, cute, and asking for nudes. It's, oh my god, I can't, okay. Anyways, let's move on to the statement of the victim real quick. I just want to go over it. I don't know if I'm going to read the entire thing all the way through because it's pretty long. But also there's one last Snapchat from Yanderedev. It was a fucking last minute ditch effort. He says, I want you to delete Snapchat now. There's something I want to ask you to do, but I know you probably won't do it. And she says, mm-hmm. And he says, please say I lied and none of it was real. I asked my friend to use a Yanderedev AI voice changer. This is not actually his voice. Please don't actually release any video. The evidence is all fake. Which, again, that is the fucking nail in the coffin that he knows that he's fucking guilty, and he wants this victim to try and tell people that it was all a fucking lie, because the evidence is so goddamn damning that there's no way that he can, like, go back on this. It's fucking nuts that he said this, and I can't. Okay. Anyways, on to the statement of the victim real quick, and then I'm going to give some final thoughts. Okay, so, I'm gonna try and read this real quick. I know this video is getting very, very long. So, The victim is from the victim on Reddit. It looks like their post was deleted a few times. Someone else re-uploaded it for them. And again, this Yanderedev linked this in his fucking blog post, which is it's absolutely disgusting that he linked this in his blog post, thinking that it's like, again, like I know that he thinks that it's important to hear the victim's statement, but I think that it's really telling that he linked this in particular. So they say, so you've probably seen a TikTok claiming that Dev groomed a minor, and there's video recordings of it. I'm the minor, and I'd like to give my side of the story. First, here's proof of my identity, blah, blah, blah. Going ahead a little bit. So they say, I messaged Dev because I'm a fan. He usually doesn't do voice calls, but after 2 months, he finally agreed. He was so distant at first, but eventually he loosened up and started making jokes. Some of his jokes were so quotable, like anja, anja. I don't fucking know what that means. So I started recording a conversation so I could make some more buttons out of Dev's quotes. I really wasn't trying to bait him into saying bad things, but I did ask him suspicious questions to hear weird/funny answers. Like sometimes I asked about topics like age of consent because it's an inside joke between me and my friends, which it's again, with the victim asking these things, he should not have reciprocated is a thing. So the victim says, if he gave me a silly answer, I would share it with my friends. One friend took some of his quotes way too seriously and started saying he sounds like a predator and that we need to expose him. Which he does sound like a fucking predator. Again, he was... I don't need to reiterate it, but he's a fucking predator. So basically, she said, I have a hard time saying no, so I agreed to do what he said. I shared every recording to a YouTuber named Allie, and she started making a video out of it. And that's where we are now. The YouTuber made a video about it and has released it. So there's that. So then the victim goes on to say, when Bug, the friend, started sharing clips of the video on TikTok, I realized that he was twisting it. In the video, Ali made it seem like Dev stopped me out and called me, which isn't true. I DM'd him first and I called him, not the other way around. And again, I don't know how many times I need to reiterate this, but it doesn't matter that she's the one who reached out first. It doesn't matter when the minor is the one who starts the contact. It is up to the adult in the situation to be the one to stop it, okay? Like, I don't know how many times I need to say that, but the fact that the victim is justifying it by this is just showing that she is kind of trying to blame herself for it and say, like, he's not the one that reached out to me. So, like, it just goes to show that as a child, she doesn't have the, like, life experience to fully grasp the situation. And again, like she mentioned earlier, like in 10 years she might be traumatized by it, which I think could be the case. That's always how it, not always how it happens, but a lot of the times when people are groomed, like, I don't want to talk about my own experiences, but you don't realize that things were fucked up until you get older and you're like, whoa, that was fucked up. But anyways, she says, I decided the whole thing was blowing up in a really stupid way and told everyone involved that I didn't want them to use my legally taken recordings to make a video anymore. Allie really wants to release the video though, so she keeps trying to manipulate me into thinking that I am a grooming victim, which she is. Even after I revoked my consent and told her to stop multiple times, she still plans to release the video. Girls at school saw the TikToks and they recognize my voice, and all this stuff has spilled over into real life. Allie says she's making this video to protect victims, but if she releases the video, things will just get worse for me at school and hurt his career. Which, again, this just goes to show that she, after everything, she's still, like, Alex has manipulated her into thinking, like, that she is ruining his career and that this is a horrible thing for him, and she's still thinking about him when he's the one who groomed and manipulated her and is the abuser in the situation. So she says, I keep trying to say all of this in their subreddit, but they ban me and delete my threads when I do. It's ironic that they call this place North Reddit, but they're silencing me just because I'm not supporting their narrative. Here are screenshots of times when I told Allie not to use any of my recordings, and she totally ignored my wishes. Note the super manipulative language she uses is so gross. And I looked at these screenshots. I'm not going to go through all of them, but basically Allie was just saying, like, please, like, I need to release this because it's really bad, and that she wants Yandere to be distanced from the victim. And I didn't really see any manipulative language going on, not nearly as manipulative as Alex in his bullshit. It's rough. She says, I do not think that Dev is a groomer. I do not feel traumatized by him, and I'm making this post that I oppose what Allie is doing. No matter what she tries to do to protect my identity, she is still harming me by releasing this video with multiple exclamation points at the end, which again, she's 16 years old. This just shows that she, I don't know, she probably hasn't fully processed what is going on, and she says that she's not traumatized by him. And that's just, it's so fucked up that, again, like years down the line, she mentioned this earlier, that she could realize how fucked up it was. And especially, again, with the power imbalance, having that on her at 16 years old it's so fucked up, and it's just really, really sad to see this, that she is saying that she is not a victim and that Dev is not a groomer, which he fucking is. Like, he is. But, it's really fucked up, and it's bad. I know that a lot of people are bashing Allie for releasing the video, but Allie in the video mentioned that she originally was going to leave it up to the victim to release the video or not, but then after the victim had talked to Alex about it, and Alex had coached her into saying how to weaponize, like, he was weaponizing her to try and keep the video from being released by manipulating her. Allie realized that Yanderedev was manipulating her into not releasing the video and, like, kind of, like, threatening, I guess, his own well-being towards her. That's why Allie ended up releasing it. I'm not sure on all that, but basically, it really is kind of fucked up that in the comments of this Reddit thread, there are people who are commenting and being like, yeah, it's a bad situation, that Alex is being exposed, like, he didn't do anything wrong and shit. And it's like, these people they must be children. Like, these are children in his subreddit being like, Yanderedev did nothing wrong. And it just goes to show we need him to be held accountable for his actions, and we need him to be, like, his platform needs to be taken away because like, the people who are supporting him right now are his child fans who don't understand the absolute gravity of the situation going on. So if he continues to have a platform, he's just going to continue to have this, like, manipulation going on towards his fans who still look up to him and think that he did nothing wrong based on his shitty blog post. And I just think that's absolutely terrible and very dangerous. So I don't know. This has been a bit of a crazy video. I'm sorry if I got a little heated a few times because I am very heated right now. Oh my god, it's a lot. I don't even know what to say. I think just at the end, I'm just saying, like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's not his fault because she reached out to him first, which again, it's never the child's fault for reaching out to the adult. That's complete victim blaming for, especially even if she's the one who started the flirting, it's not her fault at all because she is a child. She does not understand the implications of what it is. Like, when you're a child, you don't understand the full gravity of when someone grooms you and makes you think that it's okay to be interacting with this way with an adult. And you can obviously see that with her. And it's always up to the adult to make sure that they're not the one being an absolute freak and grooming people. Like, I don't even know how many times I need to say that. It's fucking nuts. And I just think that it's a lot. I'm wondering, I guess we'll see in the coming days what happens to the rest of the game. I think that it's over. I think that Yandere Simulator is fucking dead in the water because he can't do anything on his own. He is shit at coding, no offense. I mean, full offense, he's shit at coding. He can't do art. He he has an artist, I don't know if the artist has left him yet. He can't, like, all the assets, all the voice acting, he can't do everything himself, and no one's gonna wanna fucking work with him because of all this. The game is fucking dead in the water. There's no way that he can do anything with it, so I think if he wants Yandere Simulator as his passion project to ever fucking survive, he needs to step away from it and have someone else take it over. Which I don't know if anyone's gonna want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, which I've always said the concept of the game itself, like, having a satirized kind of, like, ooh, girl stabbing people, like, that could be a fun concept. But the way that he went about it is terrible. There's weird shit in it. I think that it still could be saved if someone who, like, knows what the fuck they're doing and isn't a total freak takes over the project, but I don't think anyone's gonna want to do that. But basically, yeah, everyone is leaving him. Fucking Jay from Cub Scouts and BG Mike, the two biggest creators, I think, who play it and have supported it for years, have both made statements about it, which it's crazy because they both have platforms of millions of subscribers that'll see that as well. It's nuts. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see if he continues making his blog posts about, like, patching shit, what all gets taken out of the game. I'm wondering how much of the game will be left when everything is taken out of the people who want to leave. I don't know, maybe we'll make a video in the future, like, with the retrospective on that, because again, I've also been following this game for many years. Like, I'm a game developer myself. I like to kind of follow these projects. It's kind of like a train wreck that I couldn't look away from for many years. I've been following it a lot. I've been, like, I don't know, it's been a lot. It's just really crazy. I just feel really kind of, like, upset by everything. Like, again, we all saw this coming. I never saw Alex really as a good person who, like, I always just saw him kind of as skeevy, and it's just rough. my sympathies go out to the victim a lot because I think that she is still being manipulated by him, and I hope that she is able to kind of find like peace offline. I feel like she needs to take a step back from being online for a bit. And I know she said that like at school people are seeing things on TikTok and it's kind of rough, but I think that she once she kind of steps away from this whole sphere of being so fully intertwined with this huge content creator, I think she'll realize that she was fully taken advantage of. It's really fucked up. So I'm hoping I sympathies got to her. Alex is a fucking weirdo. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but that's about it. Again, sorry if if this video seems a little more messy and I'm a little more mad than I usually am. And again, I probably kept in some stutters and shit because it's a very fucking long video as it is, and I'm sorry if there's some shit. I want to get this out as soon as possible because there's a lot of people wondering what the fuck is going on, and there's a lot of moving parts. So, yeah, I'm hoping that this made sense, and I'm hoping that it kind of like helped understand the situation a little more. But yeah, if you like the video, I don't even like the video. It makes me so fucking upset. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Again, I've been following this for a very long time, and I just want to make this video. I'll see y'all in the next video. I don't even know what the fuck to say to end this video, but bye.